These mini twice potatoes are unbelievable and so much better than frozen potato skins. Rinse and dry 12 golden fingerling potatoes and preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. 12 potatoes will make 2 dozen surprisingly filling appetizers. Place the potatoes in a muffin or cupcake pan, and this will keep them upright later when we stuff them with all the yummy ingredients. Prick each potato once in the top and bake for 15 to 20 minutes until a fork slides out very easily. While the potatoes are in the oven, fry 1/2 of a regular 16-ounce package of Oscar Mayer bacon. I use the store-bought packaged kind instead of the thick deli bacon because I want the bacon to be 100% crispy, not chewy, and crumble as finely as possible for these little mini potatoes. After the bacon has cooled, I put the strips in a baggie to crumble, but crunching with my hands just doesn't get them fine enough, so I grind them with a mortar and pestle. But you could use a rolling pin, just don't use a food processor or you'll end up with bacon dust. I want them to be proportionate in size to the mini potatoes, like this size right here. Once the potatoes are done and your fork slides out easily, remove them from the muffin pan and cool for a couple of minutes. Then cut each in half lengthwise. Scoop out the insides by slicing around the inner edge, leaving a thin lining of the potato. Then use a small measuring spoon to scoop out the middle into a potato ricer or a bowl for mashing. Or if you can, slice around and under the potato. If you have a potato ricer, press the potato flush through. A potato ricer will keep you from over mashing potatoes, which makes them like glue. And now I'm going to mix in sour cream, shredded cheese, milk, and 4 tablespoons of butter, melted slightly in the microwave, so I cut them into smaller pieces first. And I'm using salted butter, also whole fat sour cream, whole milk, and regular cheese, but you can substitute any of these for non-fat. Add 1/2 cup of sour cream, 1 cup of finely shredded cheese. I like the Mexican style blend because it has the 3 additional cheeses as opposed to just cheddar. Then add just 1/8 of a cup of milk for now. You don't want the mixture to be too thin, so add the other 1/8 cup later when you're sure of the consistency that you have. This is too thick, but just like salt, you can add more milk, but you can't remove it. Season with 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground pepper, but not the salt yet. Add the bacon pieces and equally integrate all of the ingredients. If it's too thick for piping, add 1/8 cup more milk. This right here is a good piping consistency. Now give it a taste. It should have enough salt and pepper. Fill a piping bag and use a large star tip, or fill a baggie and cut off 1/2 inch of the corner. Piping the filling into the shells just makes it easier, but the pattern is just going to melt with the filling. Pipe the filling into the shells. This doesn't have to be pretty because the filling is going to melt down and also be covered with sour cream and chives. So fill them as high as this and use up all of the filling. Now either cover and refrigerate until the next day or bake for 15 minutes or until browned. The potatoes are way too hot for the sour cream right now, so you have plenty of time to cut the chives. Instead of a knife, I use either herb scissors or shears to get them this tiny. I want these to be proportionate as well. If you're cutting these an hour or so before serving, keep them airtight in the refrigerator. You can also pre-fill a piping bag with sour cream and refrigerate it, but knead it to mix it right before piping. Now these are super hot, but they are ready to dress with the sour cream and chives. Although you can keep them until ready to be served in a warming drawer or covered with foil in the oven, but they must remain above 140 degrees for food safety. Don't top with the sour cream until ready to serve. If you want your guests to eat these while they're hot because you don't want them to sit until they get cold, have a server or yourself take the tray around with cocktail napkins to your guests. This is the beauty of one-bite appetizers. Your guests can still hold their cocktails in one hand and they can converse again until the next appetizer comes around. Have a great party, and you gotta make this. To see all of my videos, don't forget to click subscribe.